Hi, my name is Agnieszka Racynska. I'm part of Fundación Avina, where I coordinate the implementation of the PERIPLO Project, an initiative that aims to contribute to the creation of a more equitable labor migration system in the agricultural supply chain in Mexico and between Mexico and the United States. And today we're going to share with you information about Ellas Hablan. Ellas Hablan is a media campaign that acknowledges the work and the impact of women agricultural workers and the impact that they have in our economy and society. It's a recognition of their contribution to creating a more equitable and just economy. So the goal of the campaign and the whole campaign revolves around their actions, demands, and life stories. And the aim of this campaign is to share the realities that they face in their communities of origin and destiny. With Ellas Hablan, we seek to make visible these demands, their social context, and their dreams of a more just society and just economy. This campaign also seeks to raise awareness about the persistence of human rights abuses and labor rights violations in the agricultural industry. So, the Periplo project includes a strong perspective on gender and also intercultural perspective, and we chose to center this campaign on women because we know through research and our own experience that women are more likely to work in precarious circumstances and are more often than men exposed to labor rights abuses. We also know that women agricultural migrant workers are pushing for relevant systemic changes in the industry and are demanding better conditions in Mexico and in the US, not only for them, but for all migrant agricultural workers. We know that about 30% of all agricultural workers in Mexico are women, and only 3 of 10 women that work in the industry are paid for their work. Indigenous women are the most exploited and vulnerable in terms of discrimination and also the conditions that they live in. According to official data, more than 93% of women agricultural workers in Mexico have no labor contracts, and 90% lack access to healthcare through their employer, and 85% have no benefits. Last but not least, a study made by Centro de los Derechos del Migrante found that 86 of the migrant workers surveyed reported that women are not hired for agricultural work, or they are hired under terms and conditions that are less favorable than those offered to men. At the same time, 67% of the interviewees said that both employers and recruiters explicitly prohibited the hiring of women. And in 2019, only 6% of all the H-2A visas granted by the US government went to women. And this is an alarming percentage that shows the level of discrimination that women are facing in the recruitment process. There are many stories to tell about women working in the agricultural industry. Ellas Hablan is a recollection of testimonies of women who come from different communities of origin in Mexico. These are rural communities, mostly in the south of the country, and women travel usually to the north to work in the northern states or in the US. These are 10 women that agreed to speak to and share their stories about the grueling labor and living conditions they faced. And their stories also highlight the role these women play as agents of change for their families, their communities, and the agricultural industry in Mexico and the US. They speak to demand that the private sector and the government recognizes the importance of their work, and that the agricultural industry and the authorities take action to uphold their human and labor rights. And as I mentioned before, the 10 stories were selected to ensure the diversity of contexts and testimonies and experiences. These are 10 stories of 10 women that don't know each other, and 10 testimonies that tell a similar story, and the same demands: better wages and working conditions, including benefits, that the local and federal authorities in Mexico conduct effective inspections and follow up accordingly on labor rights violations, respect for the right to decent housing, healthcare, and education for their children. They demand that the private sector, the companies, respect the right to freedom of association, and also that companies and consumers recognize the importance of their work and their contributions to the economy. They are demanding labor opportunities, equal labor opportunities translated in responsible and ethical recruitment practices, access to contracts and work visas, and also more space for women to participate in decision making. The campaign was promoted for 10 weeks, one testimony per week. We designed and published information on social media, and had a notable impact in Mexican and international media outlets. And with all this work, we think we were able to provide a platform for the women migrant workers to speak and to amplify their voices. Social media wise, the campaign had a great impact on Twitter and Facebook. And since the first week of the campaign, we had an outstanding reach on social media. Also, all the women that participated in the campaign were involved in the design of the campaign since the beginning. So this was a participatory process, and we still are sharing the results with them, and making them part of all this effort. So this is Ellas Hablan. We would like to invite you to follow Periplo Project on social media, visit our website, and watch all the testimonies of these 10 amazing women, and support them and support the project in general. Thank you so much for inviting us, and thank you for listening. And we hope to see you again, and we hope to hear from you.